Hello and welcome to our analysis of the latest developments in the Middle East, where tensions between Iran, the United States, and Israel are escalating at an alarming rate. In recent days, significant developments have emerged, suggesting a dangerous game of power and retaliation that could destabilize the region. The story begins with a warning message from the United States directed at Iran, signaling that any action that compromises the safety of Israel or American interests will not be tolerated. This indirect threat underscores the fragile balance that currently defines the geopolitical landscape of the region. In response, Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, recently marked the 45th anniversary of the 1979 seizure of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran with pointed remarks. He vowed that any retaliation against Israeli aggression would be met with severe consequences, using the phrase, breaking their teeth. This bold declaration highlights Iran's anger over recent Israeli airstrikes that have targeted key positions deep within Iranian territory. But how will Iran respond? According to reports, Iran may turn to its network of regional proxies to carry out strikes. Groups such as Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, and Shia militias in Iraq and Syria are poised to act as Iran's arms in a broader conflict. This strategy allows Iran to project strength while avoiding a direct confrontation that could prove costly, especially after its air defenses suffered significant damage in previous Israeli strikes. The U.S., aware of these developments, is closely monitoring the situation. Analysts suggest that Iran's ability to launch a powerful, direct response has been hampered by the diminished state of its air defenses. Reports from outlets like the Wall Street Journal point out that Iran's airspace is now vulnerable, creating an advantage for Israeli military maneuvers. However, this standoff isn't limited to just Iran and Israel. The U.S. has ramped up its military presence in the region with the deployment of B-52 bombers and additional naval assets. Washington has made it clear that it is prepared for any escalation. Yet a critical question remains: will this show of force be enough to deter Iran, or could it further inflame the situation? Meanwhile, publications such as the Washington Post and Foreign Policy indicate that the U.S. administration is beginning to recognize that it may not be able to restrain Israel should it decide to retaliate decisively. To prevent uncontrolled escalation, Washington has even sent messages via intermediaries like Switzerland, warning Iran about the potential consequences of further aggression. Israel, on the other hand, is not standing idle. In a recent operation, Israeli special forces apprehended Imad Mehmez in Lebanon, an individual they claim was planning attacks on offshore gas fields. This bold move, executed within just 4 minutes, sends a clear message to Iran and its allies. Israel is willing to take preemptive actions to safeguard its interests. In response, Hezbollah has continued to launch rockets into northern Israel, proving that the group remains a formidable and active force despite Israel's countermeasures. This ongoing cycle of attacks and reprisals only adds to the region's instability, suggesting that a broader conflict involving multiple actors may not be far off. Adding another layer to the complex scenario, U.S. Vice President and presidential hopeful Kamala Harris recently pledged to end the conflict in the Middle East if elected. This statement has raised eyebrows, considering her current role within an administration that has struggled to curb tensions and effectively counter Iran's growing influence. These developments raise a host of pressing questions. How will Iran navigate this delicate moment? Will its response be limited to proxy warfare, or could it risk direct engagement? And if Iran targets American forces in Iraq or Syria, what will Washington's response look like? As tensions reach a boiling point, one thing is clear: the Middle East is on the brink of a potentially catastrophic conflict. The stakes have never been higher, and any misstep could lead to a rapid escalation that no party can fully control. Stay tuned as we continue to follow this evolving situation and provide you with updates and in-depth analysis. Until then, take care and stay informed.